This unit is about creating bar tacks and pockets. Coming back to my Illustrator file with my knit top and my pair of pants, I'm going to concentrate on the pair of pants. I have already drawn a belt loop out of a rectangle and placed it on a slight angle using the rotate tool. Now I'm going to zoom up real close on that belt loop, and I'm going to draw some stitching lines. So I'm going to use my pen tool. I want to make sure that it's very lightweight, and I'm going to draw some lines. Then I'm going to come over to my brush and apply the brush. And again, I want to make sure that those two lines are lightweight, that you can play around with them being at either a 0.5 or even a 0.25 for the detail. So there you have a little stitching. Now typically with a belt loop you have reinforcement as in a bar tack. So I'm going to again zoom up real close here, and I'm going to create a swatch. So the swatch I don't want to have dashed line on, and I'm going to create just a single line, the approximate width of the belt loop. Then I'm going to come up to distort and transform and zigzag, and I want to make the size very small, like say 0.03, and I want to preview it. You see how big that is, so maybe even 0.1, and try some different sizes. So about 0.1 for the size. Then for my ridges per segment, I might try around 6. And then I'm going to again stay in brushes, create a new brush. It's a pattern brush, and call this bar tack. Now I can draw a line on an angle and apply my brush. I can come up to the top again and draw a line and apply my brush. A bar tack is also frequently found at the bottom of a zipper. So again, I can zoom up very close. I can take my pen tool and apply my brush. Now for this type of a pant, it may have a side slash pocket to it. So I'm going to zoom up on one side, and I'm going to come close to the belt loop and draw a line down to about the hip line. I want to make sure that that is a 1-point line. So now I have my pocket, and I've got my belt loop with my bar tack, and as an option I can also draw the inside bag. Now, I call it an option because sometimes on a concept drawing, you may or may not have the inside of the garment. And it just depends upon the company as well as the requirements by the retailer. So, assuming that I do, I'm going to start at about where the belt loop is. I'm going to come straight down again to about where the hip line is. You can use the shift key if you want it straight, but it's at a slight angle. And then I'm going to come down to about where the thigh is. I will then use my Convert Anchor tool to create a slight curve to the bottom of the pocket bag. Now, since this is on the inside of the garment, there are a couple of conventions. Number one, it is a dashed line. And you don't want to apply your stitch stroke necessarily because that will probably be too small. So here I'm applying about 4 points, a 4-point line. Then the other thing as well is that typically something that is on the inside of the line is inside of the garment, excuse me, is a gray. So I want to come over to my fill, make sure that the stroke is on the outside, come to Color Guide, and select a gray color. And again, just convention, that's just showing that that's on the inside of the garment. Then what I can do is I can again use my Reflect tool, and I can reflect all of these items here. So I could use Object, Transform, Reflect, and make a copy, and then move them into shape or position. And there you go. You have your belt loops with your bar tacks and your pocket bag.